Hi there, I'm AngellXLuci. Welcome to my video. Today we're going to be giving my twice binder a makeover, so let's get started. So this actually took incredibly long to make, and this is also the first video I've done in this series where I've pre-written the little stickers I put on the cards. Simply because this collection, like all cards I want to collect for this, are like a total of 500 cards, 560. I counted 560, which is a lot to write and sticker. And just writing and stickering everything actually took several days. So I wasn't going to include all of that in the video simply because if I were to do that, this video would go on forever. And no one's really interested in that probably. So this time around I actually made all placeholders beforehand and just put them in. But it was still a... I still had to think about things every once in a while, where things ended up looking a little different than I had initially planned, because I cannot count. And like a bit later on in my binder, you'll actually see that I used to have pink placeholders in here, which I've replaced now because they were ugly, and they were ugly. Mainly because they were ugly. And yeah, it took a long time to do this, but I do really like how it turned out in the end. And I finally split my twice collection over 2 binders, which means that everything can now sit a lot flatter, which is really good for the cards. So I'm really happy with how this turned out at the end. But it did take forever to do this. Like even just the parts of it that I did film. This video is only like 16 minutes long. The footage I filmed is about an hour long, so I spent way too much time on this. And this also means I'm going to have to make another cover making video soon, because my new twice binder now doesn't have a cover. So that's also going to happen pretty soon. But first, before I can do that, I also still need to do my NCU and Endmix binder, so that's going to probably come out next week. I'm not entirely sure how things are going to work out with my schedule, but probably next week. Or like maybe the one after that. I have to figure things out with my vacation and stuff, but we'll get. It's always interesting to see how Twice just has so many cards compared to everything else I collect. Like, because I mentioned the numbers earlier, and I mentioned that for Twice I currently have 560 cards on my wish list. Now, I can't count, so it's probably more like a number somewhere close to that. I'm sure I missed a couple at some point, but you get the idea. The one below that, so like the second most cards I have on my wish list for a group, is GOT7, which only has about 270. Which is interesting, since for both groups I collect 3 members, but Twice has like double the amount of GOT7. And it's not like Twice existed for much longer than GOT7, I think. So to me it's really interesting to see how Twice has so much more photo cards than GOT7 and any other group I collect, basically. And yeah, I think that's kind of weird. But, and you know, I mean, it's fair because Twice photo cards are usually priced lower than the other groups I collect. But still, it's a lot to collect 560 cards. Like, that's so many photo cards. And honestly, like, I wish I could collect OT9, because I absolutely love all of them. But just realize that if I were to collect OT9, I'd have to collect pretty much around 3 times the amount of cards I collect now. So that's over 1500. I don't think that's not happening at this point in my life. I sure as hell wish one day, but not now. Now, in those numbers, there are also the pre-order cards from the OT9 sets that comes with almost every album when you pre-order them. So in reality, the number may be a little less big than it sounds because those cards are pretty easy to find and not expensive at all, honestly. But you know, just realize there's so many cards for them. Like, I have so much respect for people that do collect OT9, or honestly just people who have completed even just one member, because like even if you were to collect only one member, that'd still be like, I think it's around 130 album cards without the pre-order benefits. So that's still a lot of cards. That's still more for one member than like 5 members of EXID, which is so so interesting. I do kind of hope that more Twice members come out with like solo albums soon, because I absolutely love Nyan, and while I haven't listened to Gio's solo album yet, uh, which is weird, I know, but I just haven't gotten time yet to like properly sit down and listen to it, which is what I usually like to do when new albums drop. So I haven't seen the music video yet either, but I have seen like the little dance come around on Instagram and stuff like that. So it looks really cool. But I really like all solos so far, even though I haven't heard one of them yet. But you know, that's beside the point. The dance looks cool, so I can't imagine the song not being cool. Um, and I really hope the other members get solos soon as well. I like my bias line obviously is Momo, Sana, and Chewy. And I know Momo and Sana recently had their Japanese thing with Mina, like the Japanese subunit thing. That's new now. Um, but but I do hope Chewy gets her solo next. Like, I doubt that's happening simply because she's the youngest. So it makes more sense to have literally any other member have a solo first. But I do hope Chewy is next. Maybe we can all hope with me, and maybe it'll happen because of that. So let's hope with me, guys. Another thing I really hope, which kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but I also really hope comeback season is going to slow down a bit, because we've had a lot of albums released recently, I think. Like, I don't know, I feel like comebacks have kind of just been constantly going on for me, which is probably partially because of the groups I collect. Like, I'm sure that if you collect other groups, it may not line up as perfectly, but I kind of feel like I haven't I haven't been in a I haven't had no comebacks in a while. Like, I feel like there's constantly something going on. And while that's awesome, it's also kind of tiring, to be honest. For me, at least. Um, I don't know, maybe some people do feel different about that, but I. Every once in a while, I get kind of tired of that, simply because I feel the need to collect everything. And I want to collect everything fast, because that way it feels more complete to me. But I can't do that really. And because of that, a lot of comebacks in a row kind of stress me out sometimes. Even though I still love the music, but you know, a lot of times I'll just like albums and concept a bit more once they've been out for a while, simply because at that point I no longer feel the stress to instantly collect everything for it, which actually makes collecting more fun for me. So if you ever see me kind of ignore a release, that's not because I'm trying to ignore it, that's because they don't bring me as much joy at the moment they release as they will like a month after that, which is really weird. I'm probably the only person on this planet who has that. But, you know, that's how I function. And I mean, I can't really change anything about that. But I feel like that will probably like turn around for me a bit once I'm more caught up with my collection, because right now I'm obviously also back collecting a lot of groups where I'm not up to date at all. And you know, when you still need to collect 560 cards for a group and you just see that number increasing and increasing and increasing, that's also kind of stressful. When if I were to be fully caught up and I'd have like 0 more cards to collect for a group, and another 10 come out, that'd be a lot less stressful to deal with because I mean it's just 10 cards, and especially for a group like Twice, 10 cards is not a lot really. So I don't know, maybe I'll get more excited for comebacks when they are happening, once I'm a bit more caught up with my collections. We'll see. Hopefully that'll happen soon. I just kind of prefer collecting at my own pace, and especially when a comeback is happening for a group, I feel like that becomes kind of hard to collect on your own pace because everyone wants to finish it as soon as possible. And because everyone does that, your brain just kind of thinks, yep, I also want that. I also want to have everything like yesterday. And when you're also back collecting a lot of stuff, that's not always going to happen because sometimes I will prioritize cards that I know are more difficult to find over newer cards, simply because the newer cards are going to be a lot less difficult to find later on because they are newer cards. And that one is obviously not true when it's about store pre-order benefits, but I don't collect those, so I don't really have that problem. I just get store pops for like ones I think are pretty, and for the albums I'm actually pre-ordering. And I don't really get anything else unless they're like really cheap, or unless I'm having a mental breakdown. Occasionally I'll buy stuff just randomly when that's probably not a good thing. Photo cards bring me joy. I love how as I'm making more videos, I'm slowly showing more of myself, and it's slowly but surely becoming more evident that I am just a big mess, honestly. But I love me the way I am, and that's the most important thing, right? And besides, it would be kind of boring on this planet if everyone were the same, right? So let's just have me be weird every once in a while. I think my favorite Twice comeback so far is Taste of Love, like the album that had Alcohol Free as title song, because I really like the like summery vibes that entire album has, and it makes me happy. And I don't know, I feel like I always like summery songs more than I like winter songs, but that's also because I like summer more than I like winter. Um, I don't know, I just like daylight a lot basically, and there's not a lot of daylight during the winter, or at least not where I live. There's probably parts in the world where there is more daylight in winter, but where I live it's kind of dark during winter, and I don't like dark that much. Sometimes I do, but most of the times I prefer sun and summer and happy, you know? So I really like that album because it kind of vibes with the, I don't know, I want to say Hawaiian, but I've never been to Hawaii, so I have no clue what Hawaii is like. But that kind of vibe, you know? Basically the thing that TV shows think is Hawaiian, that's what I like. And that's also kind of what Alcohol Free is. And yeah, that song really, like, I really like the title song, but I also really like the B-sides on that album. Um, I really like Baby Blue Love because it's just so happy and bright and cheerful. And I don't speak Korean, so I have no clue what the lyrics mean. Could be about something horrible, and I'm here like, yay, the song sounds so happy. Um, we're not going to think about that. We're just going to keep thinking it's a nice and happy song. Yay! And on top of the like music for that era, I also really like the photo book concepts for that. So that's another reason for me to. I don't know. I think that's my favorite album, honestly. Like so far. I really hope they go with that kind of vibe at some point again because I really, really liked it and I would love to see something similar. And that's already it for this video. If you watched until the end, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!